Hey guys, sales training day. I wish I'd had time to write this down, but I didn't, so I'm going to ask your forgiveness. I got to throw away this piece of paper, and yes, this is part of my goal. Never make it. So, someone was asking me, it reminded me of a story of a fella I met, and I hope I can tie this together correctly. They're asking me, what do you do for sales when you don't have any talent, when you don't have any ability, when you, oh, it's not me, oh, it's not mine, how am I going to do it, how am I going to do it? So there was this fella, I remember his name was Tom. And Tom was a turd. Tom was just a garbage human. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. He'd grown up in a semi-rough house and he'd chosen to make his life even worse. But when Tom was a teenager, he'd been put in music and he had no musical ability or ear. He couldn't hear it. He tried playing the instrument, got frustrated, quit, and it just is what it was. I mean, music's not for him. Screw y'all, music teacher. Music's not for me. Not gonna do it. Tom Sim, he got in, I think it was wood shop. Might have been metal shop, but I think it was wood shop. And, just ran with the druggies and was a bit of a hood. And he was a big dude. He was a strong cat. I was afraid of him. Long story short, going through, Tom got through his adult years, late 20s, finally got arrested and got sent to prison. And he didn't go to a nice prison, and it wasn't a good one, and it wasn't even in the state of Oklahoma. It was a little bit rougher and a little more southern, not insulting anybody on the other. That's another debate. But he got in prison, and it was not the, oh, I'm a tough guy, I'm a dirt running guy, I can handle things like I thought I could. It was worse than he expected. It was the bad that most of us are afraid of, and none of the I can handle things and all the horrors that you've heard of, and it was part of his life. And he got little thing, and strangely enough, he kind of made friends with the fella, and it got down to this. He could live in abuse and fighting and basically doing the dirty jobs and pretty much being abused, getting in fights when he could, hopefully survive them long enough to be in solitary to avoid some. But he had this bizarre opportunity because somebody heard him talk about the fact, and he thought he was making fun of it, that he'd been forced to be in music and playing the bass back in school. And so it was, we have a band and we play for different things, and there's certain folks around town that we get to go to. Basically, we need a new bass guy because our guy got out, and if you're in the band, you live in little nicer quarters, you're kind of like a trustee, you get better food, you get to go to parties and things outside now and then. I mean, it's as close to a paradise life as you could get in this world. Now keep in mind, Tom had no musical ear, he had no ability, he didn't remember how to play squat. He couldn't do it. Tom wasn't a musician, wasn't a guitar player, he couldn't do it. So what do you think he did? Hell yeah, I'm as good a bass player as you'll ever meet, said Tom. He said, I just need to brush up. I've been in a few fights, hurt my hands some. Do you think maybe you can get me a little book on some refreshers because it'll help me go through the chords and let me have a guitar for a few days? Tom sat down in his little cell and over a period of 3 days learned to be a pretty damn good bass player and learned how to blend in and follow the rhythm of the group and how to pace along with them. And for the next 5 years had, from his standpoint, strangely enough, about as enjoyable a 5-year run of life as he'd ever had. And yeah, I don't want to overstate it because he'll tell you he was in prison. But he's a musician, dude. You know what he did when he got out? He joined a little country band and still plays. Now, Tom will joke with you and he'll tell you, and I know he shouldn't drink, but he will drink with you. And he'll tell you to this day, he goes, boys, I am not a musician. I still can't read the music. I still can't follow the rhythm. I still don't have the ability. But let me tell you something. When it's this or learn to play in this, it don't take too damn long to become a bass player. If it's failure and starvation or figuring out how to sell, it's a heck of a lot easier to learn how to sell than it is to learn how to play the bass. If he could sit in the prison cell of crap hole and teach himself to play the bass in 3 days, you can sit in a nice luxury office and teach yourself to sell in 2. For one thing, no human has ever survived without selling. We do it every day. And yes, I'm going to take this all the way back to regressing. You were born with the talent. You know what the talent is? You sold mom on feeding you. You sold dad on changing your diaper. And how do I know you did? Because you're not dead. Because if as a baby you had failed, you wouldn't be around today. You sold them on the task. You continued to as you went through. You never stopped selling. Did you ever go on a date in your life? You sold. I don't care if you're like, well, you don't understand, Bob. I never asked a girl out. They'll ask me. Baby, you were a great salesperson. You were just selling by presence. That's the ultimate of marketing. Everyone sells. Everyone has. You do it every day. So trust me when I say you can handle it and you can do it. Is it going to take some fight? Is it going to take some discipline? Does it have to begin with a freakish amount of pain and fear? Maybe. Maybe. Matter of fact, maybe you're not doing that well and you need to falsely create that self in you to give you that pain, to give you that fear, to give you that motivation, to give you that hunger. But I say this to you, do not ever say, I can't. All you can ever say that is true is, I don't want it, it's not worth the price. Now that's true. Because I've watched guys and I've trained them, and over the last especially 6 years, I can't tell you, man, I don't get it. I don't get it. I can get the person that has all the skill in the world, and I can get the person that people go, don't hire her, don't hire him. And you know which one's going to succeed? Period, flat, the one that wants to. Period. I have seen this group crush it. And I've seen this group fail so miserably that it's the worst hire of them all. And I've seen this group fail miserably. And I've seen this group crush it. What I cannot judge, what I cannot measure, what I cannot figure out how to portray is heart. I cannot tell you which ones, when offered the opportunity, are Tom and are going to learn to play the bass. And which ones are the ones, and believe it or not, they exist by the droves, that given that opportunity would say, I can't play the bass, and will continue to sit in the filth and the abuse and the horrors and the destruction. I guarantee you they're out there. I don't know why, but I know this. If you have an opportunity and you're selling, then you're good. If you have an opportunity and you're not, I don't want to hear it. It's a want to. Did you miss this one? Maybe. Go back, retrain, rework, go. It's enough for me. I hope you want to. I want to give all I can to help you. Have a great day.